Okay, so we're finishing up the last bunch of pickles for the season. Yep, it's the end of the summer, basically the very last week of summer, and this was the absolute last load of pickles I could squeeze out of my cucumber plants over the past 2 weeks. I've been bringing them in, washing them, rolling them up in a paper towel, and putting them in a big bag and put them all in the refrigerator until it came time where I got quite a few together to where I could make, you know, 5 or 6 more jars, and then that's going to be it for the year. But I've made quite a few over the summer, but this will be the end of it. Kind of sad because it's my favorite thing to do. So anyway, I've already went ahead and sterilized my jars, and I just boiled them in water. I boiled them for about 15 minutes. Cover them up in water about 2 inches above the rim for about 15 minutes, and then get them out and let them dry. You can put them in the oven to dry them if you want. It doesn't really matter. I don't. They dry off pretty quick being hot from the water already. So now I've got them here nice and dry and ready to go. And now all we've got to do is put in our ingredients and our pickles and then our brine, and then process them. I might make half of them refrigerator pickles. That would mean we wouldn't have to process them, you know, boil them with the lid on. We wouldn't have to do that. We just stick them in the fridge and they'll be ready in a few days. But if you want them to last longer throughout the year, you know, and you just want to keep them on a shelf and get them, you know, later on in the winter months or whenever, then you want to definitely process your lids onto your jars. So, okay. So here we go. I usually start out and I'll put my dill first and garlic. And I like a lot of garlic. I like a lot of everything. So if you see me put extra all the time, I'm just like that. I like to always have more. Yeah, I definitely do in excess. I don't know why. So, but garlic for sure. So I like to smash my garlic too. So I've got about 3 decent sized cloves in the bottom here, and 2 decent sized sprigs of dill weed, and then a couple of little pieces of dill weed. So I'll go ahead and put that in the rest of the bottom of the rest, if that made sense at all. And I've got some really pretty dill here today. Look at that gorgeous dill. Isn't that pretty? And I was getting worried this was going to go bad on me and I wasn't going to get any pickles, or not enough. See, I usually put my garlic in first. So what I do is I just smash it like that, and that way, you know, when the brine goes in, you've got the garlic going everywhere already. It won't take as long for the garlic juices to get throughout the jar. So there you go with that. I put at least 3 in the bottom. Okay. That one is smashed already. So if you have made any pickles this summer, tell me how you made yours. I love to hear other ways and other recipes. If you have time, if you don't mind leaving that for me in the comments, I would love to hear how you made yours or what your recipe is. But I will leave you my recipe, this recipe right here. And sometimes, you know, I will make it a little different. Let's see here. I'll make it a little different, you know, a little sweeter maybe, or a little more sour, or more dill, or more garlicky. So, you know, I'll add a different, or sometimes I'll add turmeric. I've been adding that a little bit this summer. I saw someone use that in a recipe, and it really does make it look really a lot prettier for one. It colors your water a prettier color, this turmeric. and it gives it a little bit of flavor. There's not like a huge change of flavor with that, but it makes your the brine really pretty. Okay, I think that's enough dill in there. Okay. And I don't usually leave the big, you know, this stem in there, but I don't think it really matters if you do or not. Okay. I keep thinking I'm going to run out of dill. I've done that before and been so upset about it. Let's see, make sure we got enough garlic down there. Yeah. Okay, and we got this one. And if you, I use used jars, and it's great, you know. What's cool about it are all the different shapes. Like, see, that's an original in my bunch, because all my jars are like this usually, or just plain like this. But I see these jars and they come in different shapes and sizes, and I guess depending on what's in it when you buy it. But I like these jars, and it works. You can you can process these jars with the lids that come with it. You can actually process them. I've done that. It's pretty cool. Without the ring, it's just one lid. A lot easier. But anyway, so just an idea if you don't want to have to buy, you know, new jars every year or whatever. So just clean out your fridge. That's what you do. Sorry, I keep cleaning those together. I know. I hope my cats don't fight, because then you'll get to hear that. Okay. I didn't think I was gonna have enough garlic. I think I'm gonna have plenty. And then I like to put 1 or 2 throughout the rest of the jars. I put in the pickles and the brine. Okay. A little bit more in there. Okay. All right. We have enough of everything so far. Now, we'll put our other ingredients in there. Okay, so we want mustard seeds, and I usually put 1 to 2 teaspoons of mustard seeds. It just really depends on what you want. What, you know, how strong of this flavor do you want? So sometimes I'll put 2, sometimes I put 1. I'm not sure yet. I think I'm just gonna do 1, and only because I'm running kind of low, so I don't want to run out. So a teaspoon of mustard seed in each. And then I put a pinch of crushed red pepper flakes. Just a little pinch, little pinch. And not usually in all of them, but I think I will in all of them this time. Okay. And here's another option for you, bay leaves. That's a new one I had learned about this summer. So I put like a bay leaf in some of mine, but then I tried one out, or a couple of them, like in the brine, when I made the brine. And it makes it taste pretty good, I think. Tastes good. Not a huge difference, but okay. And then there's celery salt you can always use. I don't think I'm going to use that here. And I usually try to put a little bit of sweet, like this pickling spice, or this one. It's basically the same stuff. I'm going to go ahead and do just like a little shake of turmeric. Nothing major. Oh, our black peppercorns. But let's go ahead and do turmeric. And I'm just going to do a shake of turmeric. Let's do 2 shakes. How about that? No, that was kind of 3. And mainly, I just like the color that it gives. I think it's really pretty. Oh, if you've never used this, you might want to use. Anyway, this calcium oxide, if you didn't know, it helps your pickles have a real, have that extra crunch, have that crunch that wouldn't have been there before. It helps it come back to life real quick. It kind of gives it a jump start, and it helps it to stay crispier longer. So, and it works. It is awesome. And that's all it takes. I could have just used an 1/8, and these are 12-ounce jars. But we do a 1/2 teaspoon for calcium oxide. Make sure these pickles stay as crispy as possible for as long as possible. Okay, so we've got that. And, oh, peppercorns. Let me get my peppercorns first. Where are they? Here they are. Gotta take them out of this thing. And usually do about 8 to 10 peppercorns per jar. Okay, I think I put about 10 peppercorns in each. And these have red peppercorns in there too, which is neat. If you can get some of those to go in your jar, it looks really pretty. Okay. Yeah, so okay, I'm gonna do probably, I'm not gonna put these sweet pickling spices in every jar. I think I'll just put them in 3 of them. Because there's 6 jars, that'd be half, so. Alright. So we'll put it in these front 3. Yeah, I guess I should use a teaspoon. It'd be a teaspoon in this. Sorry about that. I couldn't make up my mind about this yet. Just half of them will make kind of a sweet and sour type taste. It's good, but some people don't like the sweet at all when it comes to pickles. Okay, they also make them look a lot prettier too. I love how the jar looks, you know, when you get all the stuff in it. Okay, now we're going to stuff our pickles in there. Just a minute. Looky there. Isn't that a pretty batch? Now, yes, you're seeing some okra on top. My okra plants just started growing their okra finally, finally, just like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Not very long ago at all. And they have been pumping these. I got 5 okra off one plant today. I couldn't believe it. I've only grown okra one other time, and it took forever just to get one at a time. I'd be so excited about the one every other day or something. But now, I mean, they're popping up just like crazy. And I only have four plants that survived, and they're huge, they're beautiful, and they are pumping out this beautiful okra like crazy right now. So I'm trying to get as much as I can, and I'm going to pickle it. And I might fry up one batch if I get enough to do that, but I am going to pickle most of it. So I think I have enough for a jar here. I got a smaller jar, and I'm going to use this for the okra, I believe. This small one here. It says it's 12 ounces. It just seems smaller compared to the other ones. It could be the glass on the other one makes it look bigger. So anyway, we'll see. Okay, I'm going to put my okra in this one. I'll go ahead and do that. And I've got everything washed off and trimmed, ready to go. So, and like I said, these are going to be refrigerator kind. So I don't have to worry about processing these. A couple of them are kind of short, but that's okay. I mean, that's the size I like anyway. I got anxious and I just went ahead and took them. I know, no patience. Yeah, I think this is going to be just right. I hope. And oh, I have 2 little pepper plants too. But they just grow. I mean, we're not big on peppers here at all, but I like them a little bit, just not a lot. So I got like the miniature pepper plants. One of them is called the lunchbox red peppers, sweet mini red peppers, and the other ones, well, they're purple little square looking peppers. And they're the cutest things in the world. Anyway, so the red ones though, they haven't been turning red, so I went ahead and just started picking them, and they're good. I mean, just like this. I've been eating them like this. I mean, I guess they would eventually turn red, but they never did. I waited and waited, and then the insects were getting to them, so I went ahead and picked them like this. I never did get any red ones from them, so I thought I'd put them in here with the okra. Yeah, part. I got one more to fit in. Can I do it? I think I can. Just gotta figure out where exactly. I think we can do it down here. Oh gosh. I don't want to smash anything. Oh my goodness. I can put those peppers in with my pickles too, so that's not a problem. And I can do this. There. There we go. Uh-oh. Put that in there. Okay. There we go. Yes. And that's how it's done right there. So if I were to process this one, there wouldn't be too many air pockets in there, I wouldn't think, because it's pretty tight together. But they'll loosen up once you get the brine in there. So, and also once you, like if I was processing it, I would push this down on the side after getting the brine in, push this down in here, and you know, kind of wiggle it a little bit, push it back towards the center, and then it loosens, lets those air pockets out, and then loosens it up too. But we don't need to do that. So there. Okay, so I've got my pickles back here, and that is all of the okra, and they all fit in here. I am so happy about that. Okay, so I'm going to put a couple more pieces of garlic on top and a sprig of dill. That can fit just right on top. Gotta have it garlicky, that's for sure. We use so much garlic around here. It's probably why we're pretty healthy for our age. It's not like we're real old or anything. We're just 55 and 65. It's not real old. But you know, a lot of people that we know that age are sick in some kind of way, and we're not. So it's probably from all the garlic we eat. That's my guess. Okay. Couple little sprigs of dill will make this just right, I believe. Okay, perfect. There you go. And you could, you know, another thing you could do to make sure, you know, all of your seasonings, spices and stuff, to make sure they go all the way through the whole jar, you could put like half of them in the bottom and half on top. But what I do a lot of times, since it's all down here, is once it gets on there and I get my lid on there how it needs to be, then I'll turn it upside down and cover it, or upside down in the refrigerator, whichever one it's going to be. And then that makes all of the spices and stuff go through the whole jar. Okay, so we've got this one that we just need brine for, and we will put this over here for now. Line that up. Excuse me. Okay, so here's this one, and I got a couple oddball pickles. Look at these. Look at these strange looking pickles. Aren't those crazy? So I thought I could, you know, use these as a few pickle chips each, you know, or something. Isn't that something? I don't know. It was just right there at the very end. It just didn't. It couldn't make that last push to make it stretch out into a big cucumber, you know, or pickle. Because these are pickling cucumbers, so they're actually pickles. So we'll think about that, and we'll use those later. All right. So right now I've got one plant that the pickles come out looking like this, real pretty, different, real pretty. White spot. It's because this plant doesn't climb. It's not a climber. It just climbs on the ground, you know, kind of like a watermelon. And these pickles just boom come out of nowhere. And this is your typical pickle from the other vines. So, okay. But this is too big, I think, for the little pickles. So I'm not sure what to do with that yet. I'm just gonna fit all these in there. I'll just figure it out. I like pickle chips too, so now before you put your cucumbers in your pickle jars, you want to cut off the blossom end. You know, it's the little bitty part that's yellow. You want to cut that off because apparently there's an enzyme in there, in this blossom part on the end, on the bottom here, that will mess up your pickle if you try to dill it, and you don't want to eat it. It's all messed up. So cut the end off just a little bitty bit, you know, just right where the yellow is. See, and then I try to just barely like cut the top off, just barely, like that. Gosh, I'm sorry, like that, just barely. Okay, so that's how I do that. So don't forget to cut that blossom end off for sure, though. The bigger, fatter end, that's okay. It's not so bad to leave that top on if you forget. But you don't want to leave the blossom end on. This one, see, is already like that just from the way I picked it. Put a pepper in there. see. I don't know what this exactly is called, but you need one of these when you're pickling, and it'll usually come in a set of things you need, of tools you need. I can't think of what this is called, but anyway, it helps you get down into the jars and, you know, rearrange your pickles as you need them, and helps you measure like your liquid. Just a handy dandy tool that you absolutely need to do this with. Yep. Okay. I just like those better. I'm going to put this one in. It's a little bigger than I like, but it'll be a good one. I'm going to stop and go ahead and put in some more garlic and dill. And we'll do that halfway through. So this is what we've got here so far. I'll have to go through and straighten those out. I smashed this garlic here, and I'll put that in the middle. Another little one. Okay, and a little sprig of dill. Okay. Just add another little one in there. Okay, so there's that. A few more in here. Like I said, when you get the brine in there, that's when you can, you know, readjust your pickles in the jar. So, which this will need it if I were to process it, but I still want them to fit in there good, even if I don't process them. So, but I'm gonna put a few more in here, and then that'll be it for this one. Let's see here. Okay, I think we're good on this one. Yeah. And I bought some labels last year. I think I ordered them. I think it was through Temu. If you've never shopped through Temu before, man, they're dirt cheap. And, you know, yeah, mostly junk, but you can find stuff, you know, like labels. They're real cute labels that I can, you know, it came in a package with a little marker and everything. And so I can make my own labels now and put on these jars, stuff like that. I mean, it's worth it. So I'll do that to these jars too. But anyway, it's packed full. I think we'll move right. Oh wait, we need to put something on the top. A little more dill and garlic. Nope, a little more dill and garlic. And that's what it's here for. Don't be scared to use it. I get a little too lovingly with it and run out sometimes. Okay, and one more. Let's just put one more at the top here. One more garlic. Okay. And that will be good for now. Okay, so let's try number 2. We've got 4 more to go. I'm going to take a short break. All right. Okay, I got them all filled up, and all 6 of them. I had this amount of pickles. It's so weird how things work out sometimes. But this, I used every bit of the pickles I had. There were a couple in there that I had to not use because they weren't all fully grown or developed right or something. Otherwise, I used them all, and I made some chips. Made some pickled chips. I have to talk quiet right now. It's nighttime around here. See, made some pickled chips, and I got three of the baby dills, whole baby dills, and then 2 chips. Yeah, 2 of the chips. And then I got my okra. Yay! I'm so happy about my okra. Awesome. That is, I think that's the first. Yeah. It's the first pickled okra I've ever made, so I'm excited to see how they turn out. Okay, now we gotta go put the brine in. So this is my brine, and all this is made up of, and in the description, of course, you'll have your measurements. But all this is I put half and half of white vinegar and apple cider vinegar, and a couple bay leaves that I told you about, and then some sugar, salt, oh, and I think a pinch of red pepper flakes, crushed red pepper flakes. So that is my brine, and now we're getting ready to fill up our jars with this handy dandy little contraption. It's part of that set you can buy at Walmart. It's this and that, you know, that that stick I was using. I can't think of the name of it. That and oh yeah, the bottle. I'm sorry, the jar holder. Yeah. So there's like a set of 3, a box you can buy at Walmart or anywhere that'll have these. You have to have these 3 tools for sure. So look how pretty they are, these jars. Pretty. So yeah, I had 2 chips, 3 baby dills, and 1 okra. So everything looks pretty good. And then what I do is layer it. I start at the bottom with all of the spices and the dill and garlic. Then I get to the middle and I put some more garlic and dill, only garlic and dill, and then on the top I put some more garlic and dill. But as far as the seasonings go, or the spices, I just do those at the bottom, and then I'll turn the jar upside down after I got the lid on to make it go all the way through. Okay, so let's get started. So what you do is you just heat this brine up only until just until everything dissolves. The salt and sugar dissolve, and then you turn it off and let it cool, because if you put it in here in the jar and it's still cooking or still warm, pretty warm, it will literally cook your pickles. So you really don't want your pickles cooked. Okay. And we want to make sure that the brine is going to be no more than a half inch from the top rim. Put a little bit more in here. And there's a red tint to it, and that's because I remember now I did do a splash of red wine vinegar, just a splash of it, because I had seen a recipe with some of that in somebody's brine, and I wanted to try that out. It tastes good, but I don't know as far as pickles go. We'll see. So I have to just say a prayer that it all works out. Okay, so there's that one. And see, it's up to, let me get my, okay, this is called a bubble remover / headspace tool. Okay, so how I told you that we're going to go down in here and push and move it around, that gets rid of your air bubbles. And then your headspace, you don't see this, it's measured in half inches, and you don't want it to go any more than you want at least 1 inch from the top. That's what I'm trying to say. So there's a half inch, there's 1 inch. So we are 1 inch from the top. So we are safe. That's what I was trying to say. Golly, wear myself out. Okay, so let's go into this one. Got a bay leaf in there, it looks like. Oh, I don't need that bay leaf too. Well, it's a whole one with both of them, both pieces in there, so it's okay. Okay, let's see where we're at here. Now let's take our headspace tool. I'm glad I know the name of it. And looks like we are just right. Okay, because if we were to go over that, that would be a big no-no. So we are just right. Good deal. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay, stop just in time. Yep. Okay. Let's see where we're at. And a lot of times when you move these around with your bubble remover, so glad I know the name of this one, then sometimes you may have to add some liquid. This one I already need to add liquid. There we go. Okay. Alright. Good there. Let's see. Okay. 3/4 of an inch. Okay. That is fine. Okay. See, without the... Once you shake these jars up with the turmeric in there, that color is really gonna come out and be pretty. Okay, let's get this one. Some brine. Oh no, it's not gonna fit. Ooh, not gonna fit in that one, is it? Okay. We have to make some brine. Okay. A little bit more maybe. There, that looks good. Okay. So, you're not going to believe this. I had just the right amount for these 6 jars. Just the right amount. Look at that. Can you believe that? This one maybe needs a touch more, but I bet after I move the pickles around, it'll probably be just right. But I can always get a little bit from one of these, you know. But I made just enough. Look, empty. Yeah, I can't believe it. This worked out just too perfectly. Things don't work out that easily for me. You don't understand. Okay. Wow. I hope these turn out good. I'm really excited about it. Okay, now we've got to get our lids on here. And I'm going to try to take a little bit of this juice and transfer over there first. Oh, but before we put the lids on, we have to use our bubble remover and go in and do this. This is what you gotta do. You go in with this thing and you go down to the bottom. You work your way all the way around, all the way around. You got it all in there, and then you push back. Okay, you push back towards the center, and it loosens it up where if there's any air bubbles, they'll be let loose. So then you want to work your way around. Now sometimes you can't get through these, you know, these pickles. Sometimes you just can't get through there. So then you just can't. You just do the best you can. And you don't want to tear up your pickles and stuff. I bet this is a big air pocket here that I'm trying to get through. So you got the idea. And then we put our lids on, and then we're going to process probably 3 of these, and then 3 will just make refrigerated pickles. Okay, I'm going to work on these air bubbles now. So these 3 I'm going to keep to be refrigerator pickles, and all that means is I don't have to process them. I don't have to put them in boiling water for 15-20 minutes and wait for the top to pop to make sure it's, you know, a solid seal and there's no air bubbles or anything like that. And you can set them on a shelf for up to a year usually, and store them in a cool, dark type place, cool storage place. So all you have to do is make sure you clean off your rims. And some people put a little vinegar on top, especially for the ones to be processed, to make sure that the lids stay on there good. I don't do that. I just make sure they're cleaned off. And this lid goes with one of these. I think it's this one. Yeah. And you don't want to, you turn it until it's almost done turning. I don't know how to explain it. You don't want to turn it all the way as tight as you can. You want to turn it so it's tight enough to stay on, but still loose enough to where there can be some airflow to go in and out there. Okay? And then after it gets out of processing, then we tighten them up. Oh wait, sorry, these are refrigerator pickles. Yes, you go ahead and put refrigerator pickles on all the way. One more little turn and there you go. Okay, these are ready to go. I just got to put them in the fridge, and then I will put them upside down. You see all of these beautiful little spices are going to flow down through all of these little pickles and infuse them with these wonderful spices, and vinegar and sugar and salt and turmeric, mustard seeds, garlic, all these goodies. It's going to be so good. But I store them in the refrigerator like this. As long as that lid's on good, then you're okay. And then, like, in refrigerator pickles, they say 3 days and they are good to eat. But I'm telling you right now, give it at least a week, because 3 days you're still going to taste a lot of plain old cucumber straight from the garden, and sometimes that can be a little bitter. So give it a good week. You can hold off for a week. So, but these are refrigerator pickles, and so they stay in the refrigerator. And make sure it's clean. And like I said, these jars that I've been using, this one, you know, I just use them again, reuse. They're wonderful. And these lids work perfect. Okay. This is my okra. The only reason I'm shaking it is to get all that loose on the bottom. That way when I turn it upside down, it'll all go down into it. Okay. And after about 2 or 3 days, then I'll go in the fridge and then turn it this way for another few days, and I just keep doing that until it's time to eat them. Okay. So there's that one. I need to get my labels on them too, because you want to make sure that you mark when you made these. That way someone will know and you'll remember when it's good to eat them. Okay, so now I got some new lids. And there's a place for the date on there. So I'd put today's date. Well, I should have done that already, but oh, my cats are done. Okay. 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 So all I have to do are label these, the refrigerator pickles, and then put them in the refrigerator. That's it. Okay. And the other ones we're going to process. So let me show you how to process, and then we'll be done. Okay. I'm getting the pan ready to go. This is the pan to put them in to process the jars, the lids on the jars. So you just get a big pan and try to have some kind of, I got, this is just like a little wire rack thingy, and just kind of thing. Or you can also use, if you don't have any kind of a rack, to lift it off of the bottom of the pan, because that's what you don't need to do, is set your jars on the bottom of the pan, because they'll bust. So you want like some kind of a rack, or you can use like a kitchen towel also, something like that, and just like fold it in half and then just lay it down across there, and that's what you set your jars on. So this is so I filled up, and I'm going to put it over here on the stove, and I'll show you how much water you put in. Okay, so we're going to process these two for sure, and I think that I've decided on the other 4 I'm going to keep as refrigerator pickles, because I plan on giving a couple of them away, so I'll have them to where they are ready to eat. So and like I said, I've got the lids on, not all the way tight, because you have to leave some room still for airflow. Okay. And you don't want your jars touching each other either, because they'll break real easy. So make sure it's stable wherever they're sitting. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, that's pretty stable there. And then once I get my other jar in here, I'm going to fill it up till it's about. I'll fill it up till it's about 1 inch from the top, from the rim top. Yeah, that's where we fill it up to. You don't want the water covering it this time. So let's get the other jar. Okay, let me move one over here so you can see. Let's put it there. Yeah, make sure that's, stable wherever you set it. Okay, now they're both stable. Okay, so I need to put, well, I think we may have just, actually we have too much water in here. Surprisingly, the water comes up to about right underneath the lid. So we need it to go down a bit. So I'm going to take some water out. Okay, it's right at an inch, about an inch away from the top, or right at an inch away from the top of the jar. So that's fine, that's good enough. And you can even have it down to 2 inches, but this will be fine. And we're going to put it on high and bring it to a boil and let it go as a rolling boil for 15 to 20 minutes, and then turn it off, and then take them out, let them cool off, and then you'll let them cool off for another 15 minutes or so, and then cover them and or put them in a dark, cool, dry storage area. Okay. All right, let's get these babies rolling a boil. So here's what I mean by a rolling boil. Oh. So you want to do that for about 15 minutes. So get ready to turn this off, and then I'll take them out and let them cool off, and then put them in my little storage area that I have for them. I added a couple, so I've got 4 in here that I'm going to store on the shelf. Yep. Okay, and this is part of that set I was telling you about. This is your jar holder. This is what we're going to use to get them out with. So, turn this off now. Oh, it was hot. Okay. Okay, so yeah, it gets a really good grip on it. You don't have to worry about not dropping it or anything. But I do though use my other hand and to put underneath with a towel just in case. So I'm going to do that right now. Okay. And there we are. They look so much prettier once you boil them. So I'm going to let these cool off. And then I'll put them in a cool, dry place. Dark, preferably. If it's not dark, then cover them with, a little towel or something. Okay, so these are going to go on the shelf for a while. Okay, I'll have the recipe for you in the description, and if you have a recipe of your own and you have time, leave that for me in the comments. I appreciate it. I'd like to see it. Maybe try it next year. All right, have a good day.